In the last video, we saw how to use the context menu to copy and move files on our hard drive. In this video, we'll build on these skills as we work with multiple files. So, let's open up Windows Explorer again in my personal folder. And then go into My Documents again. Now, we don't always need to use the context menu to manipulate files and folders on our hard drive. We can also use drag and drop. For example, we can drag and drop example3 into example to move it. To do this, click once on the folder, then hold down your mouse button. Keeping it held down, drag the folder or file you want to move and hover over the folder you want to move it into, like this. See, Windows pops up this message saying Move to Example. If we let go of the mouse button now, the folder is moved. Again, we already have a copy of the folder inside this folder, so we'll get this message appear. So if I open up Example now, we can see the folder has been moved in. We can also drag and drop between Windows Explorer windows. I'll show you a neat trick for doing this now. Say we were working copying and moving files between two folders. In this case, Example, that we have open here, and its subfolder Example2. First of all, I'm going to use Aero Snap to snap this window to the left-hand side. Okay, there we go. Now, I'm going to select this folder here, Example2, the target folder if you like. Now I'm going to right click on it and choose Open in New Window. Okay, now I've got two Windows Explorer windows open instead of one. I'm going to snap this window to the right of the screen. So holding down my mouse, clicking and dragging, dragging until the frame appears, then let go. Now, if I want to move files between the two folders, all I need to do is drag by clicking and holding. So click on the item, holding my mouse button down, move the mouse across to the other folder and let go. There we go, the files are moved. I can move it back in exactly the same way. Now, an important thing to remember with this technique is that files are moved if you are working on a folder on the same storage device. But if you drag a file or folder from one storage device to another, the files are copied instead. Let me give you an example to make this clearer. I'm going to choose Computer from the navigation pane here. Now, down here I have a USB stick or pen drive attached to my computer. If you're not familiar with these, see the explanation below the video. But the important thing to understand is that this isn't my computer's hard drive. It's an external portable storage device. So if I double click here, I can open up my USB drive and I can see some files and folders already on it. Now if I drag a file across to this drive, well, I'll need administrator access to do that because it's the root directory, so I'm just going to click Continue. We'll explain more about that in another tutorial. Anyway, I've copied the file across to this drive. Notice that it's still on the original drive. That's because it was copied and not moved. Why is this? Well, it makes sense in a lot of ways, since it's not usually worth making lots of copies of a file over the same drive. But when you are working with a removable drive, perhaps for backup or transporting files, it wouldn't be a good idea to remove the originals from your computer. Now, so far we've been working with individual files and folders, But what if we wanted to copy or move dozens or hundreds of files at once? Well, luckily, we don't have to do them all one at a time. There's several ways we can select more than one file or folder at once. One of the easiest ways is to lasso them. To do this, click on an empty space in a folder and hold your mouse button down. Now, drag your mouse. You'll see this rectangle start to appear. Drag it over the files and folders you want to select, and when you have them all, let go. Now, all three of these items are selected. There are some handy keyboard shortcuts for selecting multiple files too. I'll just bring up the on-screen keyboard to show you. Using the Shift key, either here or here, I can select a range of files. For example, if I wanted to select all the files from here to here, I can click on the first item, then holding down Shift, click on the last item. Then let go of the keyboard and the files are selected. The Control key, this key here or here, is useful for selecting files too. If I decide, for example, that I didn't really want this file here, well, I might try and click to deselect it, but that deselects everything else and selects this file on its own. With Control, I can select or deselect individual files and folders, like this. Holding down Control, just click, and there we go. Click again to deselect, or select. When you're done, let go of Control. And there we go. When you have multiple files selected, you can work with them just like we did with single files. That means you can use the context menu to cut, copy, just close the on-screen keyboard, create shortcuts, and send to various places. Or we can drag and drop them just like we did before, holding down the mouse, dragging across, and then let go. When you're working with large number of files, selecting several at once is a huge time saver, so be sure to practice this technique.